So hi everyone, there is another conversation that we want to have on JakartaOne live stream, and it is a pretty important one, and it is about TCKs. And who better to talk about Jakarta TCKs than Scott Marlow. So Scott, can you please tell us just a bit more about yourself and then take over with the presentation?
Hi, everybody. I would love to do that. Thank you, Tanya, for the introduction. And I work for Red Hat on the JBoss enterprise application platform and the Wildfly application server and many other JBoss open source projects, as well as contribute to Jakarta EE. I also lead the Jakarta EE platform TCK project, which means I'm responsible for a lot of things and I get the blame, but I don't have any decision making abilities. That's all up to the platform TCK committers and the community to have control over actually deciding what happens. So today we wanted to talk about, as Tanya said, the TCKs, and the platform TCK is what Jakarta EE implementations use to find out if they are compatible with the Jakarta EE specifications. And if you can get a copy of the slides, I included a link to the platform TCK source, which may be helpful to check out as you're listening to our call to our discussion today, and as well as on the Jakarta EE website, there's a Get Listed page that tells you more about what it means for a Jakarta EE implementation to use TCKs to see if they're compatible, and can get the use the Jakarta EE compatible branding as well, which is a great thing to have.
And just a comment from my side, if you have any implementation on your end that is passing the TCKs, we absolutely would love to know about it and celebrate that.
So we want to talk a bit about what we've been doing and what's going on now actively with the Jakarta EE 11 release and the restructuring of the platform TCKs, which are instrumental to the EE 11 development cycle. And the release of EE 11 is blocked on having TCKs to actually use to validate the EE 11 implementations, kind of like we were just saying a slide ago. So we really want to know why do we want to restructure the I think it's down to 2 to 3 million lines of test code. Why would we want to do such a big thing like that? And for a lot of the discussions we had about this, we kind of start from the beginning, which is, how many of you out there listening are familiar with the Java test harness and Apache Ant? The Java test harness is the test framework that the TCKs are using to run, to run the test, and you have to be very familiar with that framework, which predated all the other test frameworks like JUnit. Java Test Harness was the first one to come out, and that's what's used for the OpenJDK team as well, by the way. And so if there were a lot of people who knew how to write tests using the Java Test Harness, we wouldn't have the problem we have today, which is there's very few contributors who can help maintain the TCK tests. So yeah, that's kind of the goal. The goal is to make it possible to not only modernize the TCK test code base, but to get more contributors adding and modifying TCK tests. So instead of there being a small number, we want to really scale that up. But first we have to rewrite the test framework. Sorry, rewrite the test to use JUnit 5 and to use Apache Maven. The Maven part isn't as important as a JUnit part, because that's what a lot of developers are using the last few years. And so, yeah, I think that's going to help, but that's why we're doing it.
Perfect. So we will have the modernized TCKs.
Oops. Pressed the wrong key. Sorry about that. Okay. So what is let me just make sure. Yep. What is, the plan to move forward? How are we going to address these problems? Okay. So at a high level, roughly what we want to do is, after we finished restructuring and refactoring the test, we'll want to validate that the TCKs are correct and run them against Jakarta EE10 implementation, or maybe a few implementations where anyone who wants to help with the testing can validate their implementation against what we've done. And that's something that, if people can help with that early on when we're ready, that's great. But even if EE10 implementations do that check-in some point in the future, when they have time, that could still be a helpful step for them to go through before they try to run the EE11 TCKs. And so after we've done that initial validation of the rewritten TCKs to make sure that they work against an implementation, which proves that the TCKs are robust enough to be used and correct enough to be used, we'll add EE11 tests and remove some tests that are no longer needed. And that's going to give us what we'll need to release a milestone release for EE11, so that we can start getting standalone specifications testing as with their TCKs, as well as the platform implementations to test as well, for full platform, web profile, core profile, and whatever else we might add in. So that's the high level view of what we'll be looking for occurring. And the view from the outside, you basically, you want to see us hit these milestones, essentially: EE10 testing, EE11 TCKs, and then complete the whole everything else, the testing and the further development that goes into in EE11 release. So currently we're working on tooling for automating the rewriting of the TCK tests to run with Maven. Sorry, to run with JUnit 5, and Achillean is the other tool that we're using. And so we're getting closer to having our tooling to be ready. And there is work going on. Some developers or contributors are already have been working on rewriting some of the TCKs. It's just so much work. We really have to automate and make it easier to get through this. But that's kind of where we're at. We're almost done with the tooling, and I gave some links here that you can look at. And thank you, Ollie, for getting the servlet TCK completely rewritten and moved to the servlet spec. So that was a good, yeah, a good thing too. And big question people are going to be asking, when will the refactoring be complete? We don't know yet. We don't know. We will get more help soon. And we, recently saw, new contributors who are going to help after the refactoring, I think, with making, running external tooling to automatically make the test even more robust than what we do. So it's really great that people are signing up to help in that way. And I gave links to, we had those external discussions are happening. So if people know JUnit and Apache Maven, or just forget about the Maven, if you know JUnit, you'll be able to help us with improving and add in tests and so forth. So we're really looking for more people to get involved with contributing after we're done with the refactoring. If you know the Java test harness, please contribute with the refactoring as well. Thank you.
Hey, Scott, that was an excellent presentation. And may I notice that you have a fabulous shirt there? It seems like it's showing off some of the important logos we're celebrating today.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. The Jakarta EE organization at Eclipse sent me this thank you. And just for contributing, and I love it. I love my swag that I got from Eclipse. Thank you so much for this, and thank you everyone for listening. I really look forward to meeting all of you in the community, and join the platform TCK mailing list, which is in the presentation slides, and or it's easy to find as well, and look forward to working with you all.
So that was a great conversation with Scott, Tanya, right? I just want to remind everyone of our theme this year, which is the gingerbread cookie. We're already seeing some pictures on socials, so thank you for that. But there's still time. Please make sure that you create your version of the cookie and tag Jakarta EE. We want to see more pictures.
And we'll share ours just in a
Exactly.
bit. So
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah, exactly.
So the next talk by Thomas Watson is about an instant-on startup for Jakarta microprofile and Spring Boot applications using Checkpoint Restore. So let's hear it from him.
Yeah.